So here we are, Jimmy, on a blistering hot day here in New
I
England.
can feel it now. Yes,
Yes.
that sea breeze is coming from about 300 miles away.
And it's a good thing your fabric is Scotch guarded because the sweat will just roll off your chair. Isn't that a lovely thought?
Yes, well, I hadn't thought about that, but thank you for that tip. Thank you. I'll tell my client when I see him.
Oh, we're just
By the
kidding.
way.
We do have air conditioning. So Jimmy, class number 10, we left off with pin tacking that inside arm. I think what I want you to do is staple that.
Okay.
So good practices with the staple gun. So I'm going to get you started just to show people, and then I'm going to show. I'd like Jimmy to show. When we're showing people, like when I do it, I try to let you guys obviously see what we're doing. But for Jimmy with the gun, I don't want him to use the gun off to the side. I want him to use the gun where he's most comfortable, and that will be he's going to put the chair up on its side and then finish the stapling. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you first that he needs to staple, that we're going to staple down here first. You see how that slips, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
You see that? I'm just trying to show people that you have to, we're stapling over the seat, right?
On the
The seat was, yeah, I'm trying to get back here like that. You'll take these tacks out and trim this up later, right?
Right.
And I'm going to get you started on, I just want to show people one thing that I did. You need to put a staple right in here like that. Okay, and you can just leave that flap just like that because it's going to be covered, or you could trim it.
Now, why is you putting it here versus?
Well, you have a piece. That's a good question, Jimmy. The framework, right, is there. You can't tuck that. That has to be stapled in. And this is coming through here. Let's just show people that this is not going to be stapled because you need to leave this open for your inside back, right?
Right.
So for now, you're not going to staple that. So what I want you to do, Jimmy, I'm just going to get you started. Be careful on this now. You have to stay within that groove, right? That little groove. I'm just going to get it pin tack down in.
I have a feeling for the frame.
And what I'm going to have you do now is you'll have your back to the camera, but I just want to show people it's good practice. If you can turn a chair like this, by all means do it. Sometimes you can't. And I'm going to get you a chair. Do you want a chair, or are you comfortable?
Oh, I'm good standing up.
Just make yourself comfortable before you start firing. And you want to chain those staples, right? So while Jimmy's doing that, I just wanted to explain and catch up from last week. So instead of him stapling the fabric without folding it, and then we had to go back and trim it, because there's not much padding on the inside arms, we could fold the fabric under, and then he pin tacked it, and now he's just finished stapling it. He's just going in between the pin tacks pretty much. It's not a very hard process at all. But you can only do that, I just wanted to let you know, you can only do that when you have minimum amount of padding. We may do the same thing on the outsides, but we're going to be doing the other arm today, the same way we did finish up last week. And then hopefully we get to the inside back. The inside back's going to be different. We can't fold the inside back because there's at least 2 inches of padding. Okay, so that catches out there. Jimmy, we'll be done with that in a minute.
Okay, Kevin.
Okay, great. Careful, Jimmy. Let's put this up. Take a look at it. Now see, so the benefit, let's turn this to the camera. So you can take these tacks out later. You don't have to do it now, but later.
We'll do that.
You gotta take the pin tacks out. But now the benefit here is if you didn't fold it and staple it, right now would be struggling trimming this fabric, because this fabric, like we were struggling down here. This fabric is a thick fabric, it's hard to trim.
Okay.
So now you've got a nice clean line for your next thing, which is gonna be the braiding or the gimp and your tacks. You're going to put decorative tacks, you've decided on that.
Yes,
okay.
This
is the new information today.
Yes, this is the new intel.
Yeah. So Jimmy, do you remember what we did on the other arm? I'm going to test your
Well,
memory.
we had, let's see, what did we use? We used a little Dacron, didn't we?
We put a little cotton in there first, right?
Yes.
As kind of like a buffer. So why don't you put that on first? I don't know if you remember, you have to be...
Spreading it out a little bit.
Yeah. That actually added a little bit of padding. I'm not sure. I don't think we had to staple that, Jimmy.
No.
it keeps falling on me. You know what, let's do this, Jimmy, let's just bring it this way. And, you know, for people at home, let's do this. I'm just gonna reach underneath here, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's pull this back. And we get an overhead shot of what you're doing. Again, this makes it easier.
Yes, we
So, Jimmy,
probably.
it's kind of like, you just want to trim down a little bit away from here. You see how this is in your way too? You might want to
Cut that back?
Cut that back a little bit. Oh, yes, it is. So what Jimmy's doing, he's trying to keep this edge as clean as possible, and you know that's hard to do, you guys, sometimes because there's not a lot of space, right? So Jimmy, what I want you to do is finish trimming this about an inch and a half away from your tack line, okay? Just like you just continue that down there, and that's it.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to, actually I want to see how you do with this. All I want you to do for now is try to get this tacked. This edge, we'll get the straight edge. I need you to staple, I don't want you to be right here. I want you to be where the burlap is.
Oh.
Okay, see if you can get, you don't have to be.
Are you checking my marksmanship?
Yes. You don't have to be
On the market, on the money.
perfect, and you could be spaced about 2 inches apart on that. These fell off. They fell off. Just in case it flips back.
You don't mind if I cut, Kevin, do you?
I'd like you to cut. What are you gonna do? Yeah, cut down there. Just try to stay about, you know, an inch away from the finished edge. And then you're gonna tuck that dacron down inside after you go across the whole top, right?
Okay.
There you go.
How's that?
So let's put it up and let's look through the other camera for a second. Let's just see how you did. So the only mistake you made, Jimmy, and this is a common mistake people make, and it's not a big deal, so don't panic, okay? So what Jimmy did was, and I didn't see him, I'm sorry I didn't see you. You trimmed that up, but that's okay. So on the other one, what we did was, come over here, you'll see. We just let it hang, and just a little tip. That's not a bad thing. We can fix it, okay? But when you leave it a little overhang, and if you just tuck the dacron in like over here, so what you can do with that extra flap that you leave is just kind of push it in and kind of finish this a little bit better. But as it turns out, we're going to need another piece over here anyhow. Let me just see if the camera can pick this up. I'm not sure if the best camera angle right here. See this, you guys? Right in here. Now, if you really want to do a good job, right, I'm going to do it over in this part. I'm going to add another piece at the bottom.
Okay.
See this little gap in here?
Yeah.
Okay, we want to try to fill that in.
Really?
Right? Sure. So I'm going to just take my, now watch how nice this looks, Jimmy. Look. See that? See, you can really fuss with this and get this looking good. Okay?
Really full.
Yeah, just even.
Wow.
There's more anything like that, right?
Oh,
Look at
I
that.
wish I had
See
known.
that? No, I know. Where was that instructor when you needed him, right?
Was he down the street at O'Malley's again?
So that's pretty good, right?
So you would normally do that when anytime you have a chair situated, not like exactly like this, but in the family of.
Anytime I have any chair with upholstered arms, I make sure the bottom's finished, even though a cushion's going to cover it. Now, when you have an upholstered seat, it's even more important to have that. This is called a transition in here.
Okay.
So it's really important to have your transition lines looking really good. So a transition is here,
Okay.
is here, is through here. It's anywhere where fabric is tacked pretty much.
So even in the back here, you would do the same?
That's right, that's right. A lot of upholstering it's important on the transitional areas. So what you're trying to do is have an overall
Presentation.
presentation. So if you have a hole here,
It's not gonna look right.
right, so you want it all to look good. And people don't know this, they have to be trained, that's why you're here. So on this one here, what I want you to do is, do you remember how to approach this? Do you remember how we started the last time on the fabric?
No.
So get your inside on fabric out.
I believe that's right there. Is that yours?
Right here, yeah.
Is that it?
So I'll just refresh your memory. Last week what we did, we make sure we get our top. Jimmy's got his top marked. That's very important, right? So Jimmy, you're gonna start by taking this and flapping it underneath, right? About a half of an inch or 3/4 of an inch, and
Tack
pin
it up.
tack that, okay? I suggest you get one pin tack here, stretch it to the front, one pin tack here, and then
Stretch it to-
fill in about every 3 inches, okay? And then I'll catch up with you.
So much hanging over. So we got like at least 6
So
inches.
Jimmy, before you do any cutting, right?
Yes.
What you need to do is put this back up,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and secure the bottom, okay? Secure the bottom with some more pin tacks. And do you recall, I think what I had you do, well, yeah, you were pin tacking where we were stapling, down below.
Right.
Right, okay? So you can be, you don't have to be too close, every 3 inches or so would be fine. And a little rule of thumb, don't go too close to the ends, because you have to do some cutting. Then Jimmy, I'm gonna give you a couple more steps. See how good your memory is. Ready? Then you're ready to trim this, right, Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll wait till you do that. Jimmy, so once you secure the bottom, then you can do your cutting over here.
Okay.
So to make it a little easier, you do have to make a bottom cut right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your post workers right here. I'm just gonna turn it to the camera to show people his post workers right here, right? So what Jimmy's gonna do, he's gonna make a cut, Jimmy. You need to make a cut, like an angled cut, like right into the, actually,
Right here? Like this?
yeah. Not all the way though, you're gonna stop right about there. Sometimes, you know, you guys, if you want, chalk out your cuts. If you're not sure, you can chalk the angle out. So I'll show you what I mean, Jimmy. So you can just see, you don't wanna go too far. So you can go a little bit more like that.
Okay. Well, I'd rather go short than long.
Yeah, so now that loosens this up a little bit so you can see. So what I would recommend that you do is you could chalk out like this, right?
Yeah,
And
that-
then trim that about an inch back from the chalk line. And then you're ready to fold it under and pin
Yeah.
tack it, okay?
Okay.
what Jimmy did, you guys. He did a great job. I'm admiring how crisp his lines are here and the pin tacking. He's really getting his skill down really good. He's gonna just push this fabric through. See over here, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's
Just gonna, see this piece, this little flap here goes in the seat, right? This little flap over here, you can, the only thing that you can do is do it like a double pleat here. Just, fold this underneath like that. That's the nice thing about pin tack. I'm gonna remove that last pin tack that you put in, right? And then I'm gonna try to get this worked. You know what? This needs a deeper cut here. So give me your scissors for a second.
It's like, Michaela, zoom in.
Actually, can you see that, Michaela? Okay, that's even better. Watch this. Jimmy just, he's a little shy about his cutting, which is good, actually, to be shy. Like Jimmy said, better to be undercut, right? So what he needs to do, though, he needs to go a little deeper here. And I think I'm going to do this for him because I just want to show you guys. It's a little deeper, So what has to happen here is he has to get this pleated horizontally and then continue the pleat work. You don't want to pull that yet, Jimmy. Just leave that unpulled, okay? What you want to do is just, as a matter of fact, you know what you do? Hand me the staple gun right now. You get a staple in here just to secure this, just to get this finished at the bottom so you don't have to pin tap. I'm just going to get a staple right there. That's going to give you a good start for when you do your, now put that gun away. I want to show people what we just did there. So look at that nice, you're talking about transitions, right, Jimmy? Isn't that a nice transition? Now very lightly. People like to tug. We talk a lot about stretching. Some things need to be stretched more than others. This is just a very light stretch from over there to finish pin tacking on the outside. Watch, just a little light tug down. That's it. And then you're going to get one more pin tack in there, Jimmy. I'm going to hold the chair while you get one more pin tack there to finish that. So now what we're going to do, while I have the chair at this angle, hand me your scissors because I think I'm going to get this cut for you too over here. And the reason I'm going to do this, Jimmy, is these are very delicate, very fine cuts because there's not much padding. But the good thing about it is they're a little harder to cut, but the good thing is that it's a good learning tool too because you can actually see the post work. Oftentimes when we're cutting around chairs, we don't see the post work, it's blind. So people are very nervous about that. But right now, if you can see this post here, you can almost see the post going this way because there's no padding here.
Right.
And that top of the post, that's the first cut that we have to do right over here. Just a cut like that. And then that almost finishes that little tuck. Don't pull that yet though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another cut to the bottom of the post, Jimmy, right? And then one more cut. It does two things, you guys, okay? The last cut, I'm going to angle here. It's going to give you a little tail to pull to the outside and allow you to pull the rest to the other side, the outside arm. So a tail goes to the outside back, and the rest goes to the outside arm. Watch. Now, why am I doing this? Why is he taking the time to do this? Because I want to finish the bottom. Jimmy, the first thing I want you to do is pull that tail to the outside back. Watch this, you guys, when he pulls that. Don't be too aggressive. Just gently. See how now that pulled that way? Jimmy, you're going to get a tack in there, right?
Yeah.
Get a tack somewhere in there. A pin tack, you guys, right? Pin tack is such a good tool. So what he did was, when he stretched that a little bit, he's got the whole bottom tight. Okay, you got that?
Yeah.
Now, Jimmy, I need to make a little more of a cut here.
Are you making a straight cut back to the post? Or
No, you know what? I think that's good enough. Okay, give that a very gentle tug down, Jimmy, and finish pin tacking the outside arm. I want to show people something here. We weren't as careful on our cut in the back here because it's going to be covered, right? We're going to have a piece of 2-inch foam. Come here. See where my hand is right here? I'll wait till Jimmy comes around because I want to show him this because when he comes around he might get a little nervous.
How's that?
Good. So come around the bottom. I want to show you something. So it looks a little sloppy in there, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
But your padding comes out like to here.
Okay.
Okay, so you're good.
Okay.
You have to be more careful on these front cuts. Okay, so now what I want you to do is finish stapling that off.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So I think you could do the whole thing. Jimmy,
Yep.
I could tell you're out of staples. You know how I can tell?
Oh, I just put a
could tell.
cartridge in.
I could tell by the weight that you just put a cartridge in.
Really? So you tell me if you
Pretty
can
good,
take
huh?
the quarter out of my hand,
If I-
Constant.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Oh, you forgot down here. Let me just.
Yeah, I was about to
get a
do
couple
that.
down there.
You wanted to steal my airtime, you bastard, you.
What I want you to do now, I want you to try to fill this in a way like I did on the other side, just
Okay.
a little bit. I'm going to give you a little Dacron.
So all the time that you're doing a chair like this again, you're really kind of letting the Dacron hold.
Yeah. So that will just fill that gap in nicely, Jimmy. I think if you just pull that in there.
So I'm going behind the post, or am I sticking it
Under the post. You can see what you're doing over here. You can just take a glance at what you're doing. Sometimes it wants to slide out on you, but once you get the outsides on, it tends to stick in there.
Is that good enough, you think, or?
I think it's good, Jimmy.
Okay.
Great. Now, what you might want to do is take a couple of the tacks out towards the back,
Mm-hmm.
just because we could finish the rest of them later, taking them out. But I want to get going on the inside back. That's the whole purpose of that.
Wow, this would be the real treat.
This is cool, once you get the inside back on.
Wow. Yeah, well, you know why? Because, well, obviously the history of my coconut here, or fiber, or
But you
whatever.
brought up the coconut fiber, we've got a lot, the question and answers, could you stick around today?
Yeah, I'll stick
We
around.
have a
I'll
lot
see if
to-
I can try to help you out. You know, with your 30 years of experience first.
We figured that we could
20.
put more people to sleep with the discussion of the coconut fiber. Maybe we can help
Oh,
with
I
the
thought
insomnia.
it was your voice that people put the. Your wife says that all the time. I
It's
don't
a
know what
double
the hell that
whammy.
means. Well, you know, whatever. It's
Whatever floats
It's
your
not
boat.
the hour. It's the company. Oh, I'm
That's
sorry. It's
right,
the hour.
right.
Hour. It's the okay.
All right, Jimmy.
So where am I'm taking off on the inside.
Just towards the back, this is a couple of the pin tacks, so that when we put our foam on, we don't hide the, you need
Yeah,
to take those
I gotta
out.
look at the.
You're good down below. It's just the top that you're concerned with up there, just to speed us along. Now,
Okay, I think we're good.
so I took the liberty of cutting you a piece of foam earlier. Okay, so how I did it was, I have the top marked. So I cut it the exact size. I cut it 22 by 24, okay?
Now, when you put the ruler to the bottom.
I'm gonna, enough so that it tucks into the bottom,
Ah,
right?
okay.
So,
I just wanted to be
Right.
sure.
enough so just a little bit tucks in, not a lot though. You don't want it oversized, because then it's hard to handle. Okay,
Okay.
so this is cut in order to fold it under and staple it also, which I'm gonna, so for everybody at home, if they're gonna do something like this, I think they should practice before they go on to their piece of furniture, because there's a couple of things that you have to do, and I'm gonna show people on the foam first, but what has to happen is I need to staple in this area, okay? Nowhere else.
Okay.
So it's cut that way, so that in everywhere else it's just kind of tucked in just a little bit, you'll see. But what happens with 2-inch foam,
Mm-hmm.
okay, 1-inch foam, a lot of times you can just go from the surface and go through. On 2-inch foam and more,
Mm-hmm.
when you're attaching, you have to kind of fold it in like this and get the top, this part stapled.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to, with the benefit of the back camera here, I'm gonna try to show people how to do this.
Uh,
You want you to flip it up this way. And now folks, it's very important, this is very important to get a little bit of cotton. Actually, you know something, Jimmy, I like that piece.
This
I like
piece.
that piece to cover over the foam. I'll explain that in a minute.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if it's cotton or Dacron. What you need to do is fill in a little bit of an air pocket that will develop if you don't put anything there. There'll be an air pocket there.
Really?
And the air pocket, you'll almost feel it every time you sit on the chair.
So the middle of the back, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's important to fill that air pocket up. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of Dacron,
Okay.
right? And that's all you need, it's just about like that. It could be Dacron or cotton, and it could be just like, it doesn't have to be super neat. As a matter of fact, this is a half a layer of Dacron. I think I want another layer, because if it was you probably want at least a layer, like that's a half inch, an inch.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna leave that like that. Just, it's more, Jimmy, to cover up that air pocket. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this baby in here, but look at it, I'm gonna line it up there,
Okay.
and then I cut it just big enough so that it kinda tucks down in here, look at that.
Okay.
And
Wow.
then tucks over in here, and then tucks in here, see that? Just move away. Okay, hold on one second, get the
The
gun.
magic is not done.
The magic is not done.
Now, when you're stapling that, you have to do the entire perimeter as well? I mean, the bottom perimeter?
So, the method to our madness, the way we go about
Your
this
madness.
upholstery, right,
Yes.
is that if you've noticed, we did the seat first,
Yes.
and then all we needed to do on the padding was to tuck it, and then upholster, tuck, and then upholster.
Mm-hmm.
We're not securing each piece. We didn't pad up the whole chair.
Okay.
This is a much easier, and the finished product is much better with the transitions in mind, like
Okay.
we talked about. That's a major thing, the transitions, right? Especially here, this is gonna be seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what I wanna do is I wanna take my foam and I'm gonna just get rid of this piece of burlap here. And then I'm just gonna take my two thumbs and I'm gonna push, and then I'm gonna have the top like half-inch piece, and that's what I'm stapling it to. But notice, I have to pay attention to your tack line too, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy, I'm gonna staple over to here, and I want you to do the other side. I want you to be very careful, watch your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, watch your fingers. I'm pushing under, and then I'm stapling. It's really pretty much where the burlap is. And then that's my last staple. I'm gonna have you do that side, okay? You guys just check something out. Yeah, you're good to go, my friend.
All right, Kev.
Beautiful. Let's put it up to see how it looks. Wow, Jimmy, that's fantastic. I just want to give you a little push down there to see.
Okay.
We're gonna grab your cushion and we're just gonna see where the cushion comes. This is good to test because you've got a beautiful down cushion that we're reusing. Now do you remember that we took out some padding on this, some different type of a padding?
Yes, it was
That-
springs.
I think it was something called coconut something fiber.
I can't recall.
Let's just see where his cushioning comes from. You know, you're pretty close to what it was originally. Look at that, man. That's pretty good.
Okay.
That cushion's going to be great when it's done
Okay.
and fitted. It's going to be a custom fit. Right?
Oh, of course.
So now, before I was looking at the cotton. I was going to use that piece of cotton for the bottom piece.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason cotton is better on the top is because you only have to trim it. You don't have to attach it.
Right.
Because we're running out of space, right?
Yes,
so
we are.
it's better to have a batting. Now, you can't always use cotton batting on some materials, like
Okay.
if it were cotton cloth and if it were white. The cotton is not advisable because you can actually feel bumps through the fabric. But your fabric is heavy. It's an upholstery fabric, and it's a dark color, so cotton is a great thing.
But when you put the fabric on top
Of the
without cotton, it would wear away a lot quicker.
It would walk. Fabric has a tendency to walk if there's not a buffer between the fabric and the foam.
Ah.
Fabric will actually what we call walking.
What is
So it will walk one way. It's hard to tell which way it will walk.
Mhm.
It depends on the back fibers. So
Okay.
there's 4 ways it can walk. So you're sitting down, you're getting up, you're sitting down, you're getting up over
Right.
a couple of hundred 200 times, and what happens is it starts to very micro millimeters or centimeters,
Slightly-
really small every time. And before you know it, something's let go. It's let go either on this side or that side or the top or the bottom. So the
But
reason,
doesn't the foam break down a lot quicker that way?
no, foam, polyurethane does not break down like latex. You're thinking of latex. And that's
Okay.
not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fabric walking.
Ah.
So when you put the buffer in there,
Okay,
it doesn't do that.
Okay.
The fabric just comes, it goes in, it bounces out. It goes in and bounces out this way. It doesn't walk
okay,
for the most part.
okay.
So let's put this cotton over. Beautiful piece of cotton, Jimmy. Oh, look at
Nice.
that. Now we're going to do the same thing. Now listen, cotton doesn't tear like a Dacron would. You have to be careful with cotton.
Pulling
So
on
what
it.
I want you to do is I want you to hold down like this and pick. Now I'm right-handed, so I like to use my left hand. So you probably want to do it opposite. My right hand to pick. And what I want you to do is leave a little bit showing like I did over here. A little bit of the foam showing. You see that? From this point all the way over to that point, that's how I want to trim. But on the bottom, what I want you to do is I want you to trim it out a little bit more like this. This is almost done like here. Watch this, Jimmy. And just very gently pull this, push this through.
Oh, wow,
Push this
okay.
through here, like that, huh? And I'm gonna finish trimming that. I wanna see how good you do on that side and the
Was it
top.
graded?
Okay, we'll see. You're gonna be graded here. We have gold stars waiting in this big bucket
yeah.
over here.
Yeah, you said that last
We
time.
haven't even opened it yet.
Yeah, that's because, that's why.
It's been sitting here for weeks.
I know, untouched by human hands. How's this, Kevin?
Wow, I'm really excited.
I don't want
That
to.
looks really good. I'm just gonna critique it just a little bit more. So when you're trimming cotton around these points, you press, and if your cotton is overlapping like that,
Yep.
you want to trim it down. So a lot of people are very tentative. They're very careful about this, and they always they never under it. They always leave it over.
Well, you know why? Because they think they're afraid of taking away the shape.
That's right. But even on the top, you want to just trim it just a little bit more. See, if you pull this down, your cotton's going to get in the way of your fabric tapping, right?
Oh, okay.
So you
And then
just,
you end up
and
pulling it anyway.
everybody does that. And it's better, like you said before, it's better to have it over than under, right? See, just like that. Let's see how you did over here. I'm going to ask you to trim that down a little bit more.
This, okay.
Yeah?
Better?
Very nice, Jimmy.
Okay.
Okay, now what we're gonna do is take your inside back. So remember I told you that we can't really panel, we what we call paneled this when you fold it under and you pin tack it, that's
Yeah.
called paneling. You can't do that on the back because there's more padding and you need to do a little bit more stretching. So don't expect it to go on as easy as this.
Oh,
Right?
no, I wouldn't, not with the way it's set
So
up.
Jimmy, we got your inside back, you've got labeled inside back top.
Okay.
Right? So what you want to do, and we determined that there's not a center, so we're not worried about that, right?
No,
So what you do want to do, I should say on cotton,
okay,
you want to try to get it close to right when you put it on, I mean close to where it should be, because cotton tends to stick to the back sides of fabric, so if you put it on really wrong and you have to take it off again, it's kind of a problem. So I'm just going to get in the way of the camera. I'm going to even this out and I'm just going to put it on just like that. So any adjustment from here, you know, if you're close, you could just kind of roll the fabric either way,
Okay.
right? So you're good to
Okay.
go though. It looks good. So what I want you to do though, you can just, don't put it all the way through, just a little tuck like that. Okay, that kind of holds the bottom so that you could do some tack work up top here. And we're gonna fold you, we're gonna bring you back down like this. You can remove the staple gun, Jimmy, get that out of the way now. Jimmy's gonna pin tack the top without pulling it too much, Jimmy, okay? You all done?
Just about, one more. Yeah, looks good.
Now, Extreme Upholstery would have you trying to get the tacks from me shaking it like this. That's a real test of your skill, but you can't do that yet.
I can throw it across the room and you can catch it.
So you don't want to come down the sides until you secure the bottom. So what I want you to do, I'll let you do this. Just tuck it through. I want you to get one pin tack on the bottom, that's it. You might be surprised by that. Just one pin tack in the middle. You don't have to tuck anywhere else, just in the middle, right? And just get one tack to secure that so that doesn't move on us when we make our cuts. So this is kind of interesting, you guys, on how we're going to do this. We're going to make our bottom cuts first. Then we're going to secure the whole bottom. Jimmy doesn't have to be tugging on the sides. Everybody wants to do that, Jimmy. You don't want to do that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna correct you. I'm gonna pull this back. Okay, everybody wants to do what he just did. I only asked him to tap right in the middle, just a pin tack right in the middle, Jimmy. And you'll see why I didn't want you to tug on the ends when you come back around. That's all I want. That's it. Okay. Now,
Okay.
the reason I didn't want you to tug at the ends is because we need to have these folded out like this in order to cut them.
Oh,
So if
just
it's
because you have the post in the back.
That's right. We have to
Okay.
a series of cuts, the same type of cuts that we did on the arms. And I will tell you that a lot of people are a little nervous about these cuts. So, and the reason, there's a good reason for that actually. If you're a right-handed person, you guys, this cut's much easier coming out this way. As a right-handed person, I almost have to turn around sideways in order to get the, you really have to contort. You have to be a contortionist in order to get to that, and you can't really turn the chair to do it. You'll see in a minute. So what I'm going to do, Jimmy,
Yeah.
I'm going to cut, because you're left-handed.
Yes.
Because you're going to be attacking this side. It's going to be easier for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to cut, just to show people, I'm going to cut the right side, and then I'm going to chalk out on this side what I want you to cut. I
Okay.
think that might be the best approach, right?
Okay.
So
That's a good guide.
isn't
too,
that a
but-
good guide?
Yes.
So I'm going to grab my scissors. You'll
rather
use
than
your
guess it.
scissors. So our goal here is to cut, we're going to cut to the top of the post, we're going to cut to the bottom of the post, and then we're going to have one cut, series of 3 cuts.
Okay.
The last cut's going to allow us to pull the outside to the outside back and allow a tail to come through the arm.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you. So we know that post is right there, right? Now you're working blind,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you can put your finger in there and feel it if you want, but the first cut is going to be an angled cut like so, and you don't want to go all the way, right?
Right.
And the second cut's going to be an angled cut down there that way. Hope they can see it. And the last cut is going to be an angled cut from this way, right to about that point. Some people like to trim the tail up a little bit, like I just did. Okay, Jimmy, I want to see. Now, is there a tail coming through there? No, right?
No.
Because the arm's in the way. Okay, now I'm
Yeah.
going to turn the camera to show some people something very interesting. Okay, what you're going to have to do. This is one of those
This is the way-
transition points, right? What you're going to do is cut a little bit of a hole right there, and then we're gonna work this tail, pull that, Jimmy, a little bit.
Okay, tack it
But
up.
now, but before you do that,
Okay,
I'm gonna bring it just back a little bit, I wanna show people. Let's bring it this way and show it. Now, if you can get a close-up of that, Michaela, right there inside there. Jimmy, give that a pull, that tail, to that wall. Look at you guys, how beautiful that is, that transition line. That's what you're looking for, beautiful transition lines
Yeah,
like that.
that
Now
is-
you could pin tag that, Jimmy.
okay.
Pin tag that down. There's a lot of drama here today, Jimmy.
I'm telling you, I'm sweating, Kevin. And it's not from the heat.
So we're gonna stop here because this back has so many interesting things about it. We just finished this bottom cut right here, and Jimmy's going in a really good pace. It's coming out great. We just wanna make sure that next week we're gonna be all set to finish the inside back and maybe even get to the outside arm. So, great show, Jimmy. Good job, and we'll
Thank
see
you
you
so
next
much,
time.
Kevin,
You're
for the help.
welcome. You're welcome. See you next time.